Good morning. We've gathered here this morning to publicly ask members of the Transportation Policy Council to delay the vote for $100 million the Texas Department of Transportation has requested to begin planning Segment 2 of the proposed I-45 expansion. By 2040, Houston-Galveston Area Council forecasts that the Houston metropolitan area will have more than 10 million residents. Our region's transportation policy must be geared to leverage this growth into a more economically competitive, equitable, and resilient region. When we talk about transportation, we need to be thinking not just about moving cars, but about connecting people to economic opportunity, creating great walkable places that people enjoy, and even reducing flood risk on our city. We cannot think narrowly. We must make sure that our transportation investments create a compact, livable, and sustainable city that attracts major corporations and the most talented people and corporations in the world. For Houston to be competitive and livable, transit is the most critical component of our future transportation system. While growth of the region is essential, how we grow is just as important. Our growth must be sustainable and forward-looking. It must address a comprehensive menu of transportation needs and must do so by coordinating approaches and partner agencies across counties and cities. The decisions that we make as public agencies, developers, engineers, and contractors will shape these growth patterns for the future. If we do our jobs well, we will create a region that attracts and accommodates healthy growth by supporting a strong economy and quality neighborhoods. Focusing our roadway investments at the periphery of our region and concentrating on single-occupant vehicles is not the best policy at this time. That approach encourages sprawl, and sprawl creates congestion, exacerbates flooding, hurts air quality, encourages climate change, and destroys natural habitats. It makes us less healthy and probably less happy too. There's not too much to be cheerful about on that list I just read. Across the world, there are significant innovations in means and methods of mobility solutions. We have serious and urgent need as a region to adapt these innovative solutions to serve our needs and priorities. We are backing ourselves into a corner if we just keep trying the same old ways of solving ever-changing challenges. We would be better served to embrace the future than to cling desperately to a past that is slipping through our fingers. This is our moment. This is our city. We must be competitive, and we must do it now. To be clear, these are not my words. These are the words of Mayor Turner speaking to stakeholders in 2017 and 2018 about the need for a paradigm shift in Houston's transportation planning. The I-45 project as currently designed is inconsistent with Mayor Turner's own vision of a paradigm shift. He said it best when he said, "We are all Houstonians and we deserve the right to improve and move forward together." As currently designed, the I-45 project does not improve the lives of all Houstonians along the corridor. Today, we ask again for members of the Transportation Policy Council to delay the vote and ask TxDOT to go back to the drawing board with all communities to help create a transportation system that does not sacrifice the health and safety of children, communities of color, and low-income neighborhoods. We all deserve better. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Blair, and I'm the Executive Director of Link Houston. Link Houston advocates for a robust and equitable transportation network so that all people can reach opportunity. Thank you all for joining us here today at Bruce Elementary, which is one of the 26 schools and daycare centers that will be severely impacted by this highway project. And I don't need to tell you that. It's obvious. You can barely hear me over the number of trucks that have passed by, and because of the highway behind me. Not just I-45 to my right, but also I-10 and 59 behind me. We are here today with our partners, Air Alliance Houston and many other organizations and community members, because we are deeply concerned about the inequities of the Texas Department of Transportation's proposed North Houston Highway Improvement Project, or the I-45 expansion. On Friday, July 26th, the Houston-Galveston Area Council's Transportation Policy Council will vote on whether to fund $100 million for Segment 2 of I-45's project. We are asking members of the Houston-Galveston Area Council's Transportation Policy Council to delay that vote. Why? We are asking them to delay the vote because voting now to fund the I-45 expansion condones the project as it is currently designed, a project that is fraught with inequities. We welcome the City of Houston's efforts to restart community engagement process and integrate the efforts and concerns of communities into one document that will allow the City of Houston to speak with one voice. In order for our city to be united on this project, the City of Houston must hear the many voices of the people living adjacent to the project and make every effort to integrate solutions that will protect housing, protect culture and history, prevent excessive flooding, protect parks and green spaces, and protect the air we breathe and the roads we use. We are asking the Transportation Policy Council to delay the vote so that the voting members understand the real implications of the project and the work that Texas Department of Transportation needs to do to fix those problems. The project right now, which is estimated to cost $7 billion or more, will expand about 25 miles of highway over a 10-year period of construction. Yet our local officials and members of HGAC, or the Houston-Galveston Area Council's voting bodies, are unaware of TxDOT's own findings on the project. When we share the numbers, they often looked at us skeptical, wondering where those numbers came from. Well, I want to be clear. Every time we use numbers, we're using the numbers from TxDOT. TxDOT's draft environmental impact statement says that there will be, quote, the project will, quote, cause disproportionate and highly adverse impacts to minority or low-income populations. TxDOT's Community Impact Assessment Technical Report details what those impacts are. 168 single-family homes, 1,067 multifamily units, 331 businesses, and 24,873 jobs. The numbers for residences pale in comparison to projects like the 290 expansion, which displaced only 360 housing units, which at the time we thought was a lot, or the Katy project, which displaced about 190 units. Still, far less than the well over 1,000 for this project in total. We are asking HGAC's Transportation Policy Council to delay the vote so that we can make this project one that creates opportunity instead of perpetuating a history of disruption and displacement. That history is ensconced in legal orders from the federal government, including the 1994 Executive Order 12898 on environmental justice, the Federal Highway Administration's 1997 and 1998 orders to address environmental justice, and the 1969 National Environmental Policy Act all outline the needs to address adverse impacts to minority and low-income populations. And this project seems to be an exception to those rules. TxDOT's own documents, again, the Community Impact Assessment outlined that 67% of Segment 3 census profile for this project is a minority population. 84.8% of the Segment 2 population is a minority population, and 92% of Segment 1 is a minority population. TxDOT's blanket statement that all alternatives would cause disproportionate high and adverse impacts to minority or low-income populations is not acceptable. So what can we do? First, HGAC can delay the vote until TxDOT addresses these concerns. Second, these adverse impacts to history, culture, residences, flooding, air quality, and road safety have not been addressed by TxDOT yet. While TxDOT has noted that it is trying things it's never done before, one thing remains missing from its proposed answers: limiting the right-of-way. Limiting the right-of-way would address all of these concerns. Finally, we urge the City of Houston and residents to work together to speak with one voice and address these concerns as soon as possible. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Rhonda Skiller-Jones, and I am with Commissioner Ellis's office, Harris County Precinct 1. The Commissioner has taken a position to ask also that the board delay their vote. The reason for the delay is that all residents who are affected need to be A, notified, and B, they need to have a plan. There needs to be measurement of how they will be impacted, and there needs to be a plan for their displacement. The Commissioner is asking to delay the vote until the studies that were done for Phase 1 can also be replicated and done for Phase 2. Without doing those studies and without them being funded, we have no idea how these people are going to be impacted. Most of all, these people need to be notified. If you notice the lack of residents who are actually impacted at the meetings, it's because their landlords have been notified, but they have not. We need to ensure that these residents know what the plan is, know what the timeline is, know how they will be affected, and know how their lives are going to proceed forward after this displacement. The vote to delay is not a no vote. It is a vote to ensure that the residents are respected, that students and children are protected, and that there is a plan for everyone. Haphazard moves forward do not ensure that the quality of life for these residents is improved and or preserved. So we are not asking for a no, we're asking for a delay. There is no harm in having a delay because it does not impede the project. It just simply says in order to move forward, we want to ensure that the quality of life is preserved for everyone impacted and not disproportionately affected. Now I have to switch hats and speak from the HISD perspective as a school board trustee. We are here at Bruce for a reason. The project will bring its manifestation to the property line of this school district, to this school and DAEP, to the property line of this school. We will have increased traffic, decreased air quality control. There's no plan to put monitors in place to ensure that our children can come out for recess. There's no plan to ensure that when these children lose their homes in Clayton Park and Kelly Village, that it will not be in the middle of the school year. We have no transportation plans in case to ensure that they can continue the continuity at the schools that they currently are attending. Their parents will have a 90-day notice. 90-day notice. With resources, people who have resources to move in 90 days, that is not enough. People who have fewer resources, there's no way they can successfully pack up their kids, move, and have a plan in 90 days. There's no plan to ensure that they are notified earlier because the majority of them are renters and their landlords will receive the notification. We have to ensure that people are treated respectfully in this process. There is no harm in delaying until we ensure that everyone is properly notified, that studies are properly conducted, that people have proper plans for moving. We have to ensure that they know things like the relocation efforts are going to include deposits, that relocation efforts are going to include utility transfers. Those are things that need to be answered. When we ask TestDOT those questions, they right now don't have an answer for that. We need to ensure before moving forward that people are respected and protected. We ask for a delay in the vote until such time that that can be done. Thank you.
Good morning. I want to thank the media for being here. And I oppose Donald Trump's treatment of the media all over the country and the world. And I applaud the work you do. Okay, hello? Okay. The Greater Houston Coalition for Justice is an umbrella group of civil rights groups, national, state, and local. I don't have much more to add because it would be repetitive. I will just tell you that we have some of our members, the Black Hair Society, I understand NAACP, LULAC, and others. We're sending representatives, but we're not going to be able to have everyone speak, I understand. The Greater Houston Coalition for Justice appeals to the Greater Houston Area Council, the region-wide association of the 13 counties planning region of Texas. And HGAG, you have a problem. And if you don't have a problem, you will have a problem if a vote takes place July the 26th. Follow your commitment to the community that local government also initiates efforts in anticipating and preventing problems. This vote will certainly cause problems, and you heard why. And I'm just gonna say, in one of the factors, as a director of LULAC a while back, the school, and I imagine it's this school, had to move from a dump site that had deposits of chemicals, and they were forced to relocate. And I remember out there talking to the children on the Cinco de Mayo and what it was all about. Now the school is here, and they're once again threatening the safety and the hazards that a lot of the people have talked about. Our appeal, our community appeal, is to delay the scheduled vote this coming Friday. Let me also add, age gag really has never or has always talked about a mobility plan that would be inclusive, that would share responsibility, that would take care of all communities, and that would make Houston better. And I think they should not vote on this, and it's about time the local government gets serious about transportation, because it affects all of us. Many of us had a problem with Metro when they displaced a lot of homes, and this is what's going to happen again if we don't stop it. In some cases, it's a double sword, at least for Metro. The mobility on rail helped some elderly and people that didn't have transportation to be able to move faster to other locations. But we were angered at the number of people that were displaced, voters and others. So having said that, on behalf of the Greater Houston Coalition, I want to thank Leticia Blas, which is also our environmental chair. We have various groups, even though you hear the word criminal justice. Criminal justice extends even to the people that need to be in jail that cause a lot of the problems in the channel. But it's white collar, and they're not, those laws are not enforced. It's just like the 3 strikes and you're out. It was meant for minorities. All the black and browns and other minorities and women filled our prisons, but now we need to get serious. With that, I want to thank you, and I hope that you air this because it's of great importance to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mata. I am Reverend James Caldwell. I am the director and founder of COCO, the Coalition of Community Organizations. I am also a lifelong resident of Fifth Ward here, and I want to welcome all of you to historically Fifth Ward community. As you look around, you see a lot of vacant lots, and I'm going to speak primarily on behalf of the community and the effect that this I-45 expansion will have and has had in the past on this community. You look, you see I-10, you see I-69. Those were 2 highways that divided Fifth Ward community historically. And now we're talking about adding on I-45 expansion, which will also divide the community. We're asking that TxDOT reevaluate what they're trying to do. They're not actually addressing the social, economic, environmental impact that their expansion will have on this community that has already been a result of the I-10 and I-59 corridors that have separated this community. Mr. Mata spoke about Bruce Elementary School. It used to be over here. It was on a toxic site, right across from one. They used to have to transport water into the community because the students could not drink the water at the school. They moved from there to here. Now there's another impact, economic impact that's going to have on the students here at this school, breathing the quality of air that the expansion along with I-10 and I-45, the infrastructure problems, all of these issues, there's several others, and you will hear several others speak of in regard to the impact that the I-45 expansion will have. We've already had, as a result of Harvey, low enrollment process in Bruce Elementary School. You spend, the city and of course the district, HISD, has spent millions of dollars in rebuilding the school, and the opportunity, the prospect of replacing it or removing it is dire. So we want to ask TxDOT to reevaluate what they're doing in regard to the overall impact and effect economically and all of the other factors and issues that their plans will have on this community. I stand here with members from the community and various other organizations who express these same dire concerns. You know, is anyone really looking at the impact that it has on a community from all perspectives, from all angles? The children's, the families, the seniors, the transportation aspect, the infrastructure aspect. Has anyone really taken the time to evaluate that, to present that? I'm talking from TxDOT's perspective, to look at the overall impact that it's going to have on this community. This community being adjacent to the east end and the north side, communities of color. This is where all this is affected. This is one issue that perhaps someone won't talk about, but we're talking about environmental justice issues, we're talking about criminal justice issues, we're talking about social injustice issues. We're talking about a lot of factors that are going to affect this community as a result. If you look over these vacant lots, there used to be homes over there. Used to be homes. This used to be a vibrant community, residentially involved in this area. They're no longer here now. And a lot of that is as a result of I-10 and 59's connection and crossing with each other. So once again, I want to encourage TxDOT to take a closer look at the overall impact that it's going to have. We understand that, yeah, you want to try to get certain communities in and out of the city quickly, but who is going to be affected by that? Who's going to be affected? What about the local residents in and around these communities? What type of air quality are they going to be breathing? Thank you for your time.
Good morning. My name is Cesar Espinosa, and I'm Executive Director of FIEL. I stand here with my friends and family and people, real community from Houston. And to TxDOT, in one voice, we want to say that you cannot make decisions for us without us. In many of the meetings, the community voice has been missing, and that is a key component of any decision that should take place within our communities. We want to make sure that there's a second look or a third look or a fourth look or a 10th look at what's going to happen here. Because according to residents, the traffic's not coming from 45, but rather 59. So we need to reevaluate what's really happening here. The other thing is, who are these highways going to serve? Are they going to serve community who have historically lived in these neighborhoods? Or are they going to serve the people who are coming in and trying to change these neighborhoods? So it's important that we stand together. And once again, to TxDOT, we ask that you delay the vote, because you cannot make a decision for us without us. And we need community input. We need the folks who are here, who are going to be displaced, to be at the table so that they can make decisions for themselves, for their families, and for future generations who have been here, who hopefully will be here when all this is said and done. Estamos aquí con la comunidad, con miembros de la comunidad, para decir en una sola voz que no pueden hacer una decisión sobre nosotros sin nosotros. En muchas de las rutas que se han tomado para la expansión del 45 no se ha tomado la voz de la comunidad en orden. So, por lo mismo tenemos que estar aquí, tenemos que estar juntos y tenemos que ser parte de esa decisión, porque la pregunta que le hacemos a TxDOT y toda la gente involucrada en esto es: ¿quién va a servir a estos highways? ¿Va a ser a las personas que han vivido aquí históricamente, o va a servir a las personas que buscan desplazar a nuestra comunidad y reemplazarla con diferentes comunidades? So, queremos estar en la mesa, queremos que la comunidad venga y queremos una sola voz decir que no puede ser una decisión de nosotros sin nosotros, y estamos aquí representando a la comunidad. I want to thank everybody for being here, and together we can show Houston what is diversity, but also what is diversity and justice, and we need to be at the table.
I just want to thank everyone for coming today. My name is Letitia Ablaza. I'm with Air Alliance Houston. Once again, we're here for the community. We're also here for the children. We're obviously here at Bruce Elementary, who already has a high asthma-related incident where there's emergency room visits. There's 29 schools and daycares that are going to be affected. You have Jefferson, you have Roosevelt, you have secondary DAEP, Young Women's Prep, Aldine High, Aldine Middle, Aldine Stovall, all up and down the 45 corridor here going north. And no one is actually looking at how children are going to be impacted, how they're going to be able to have recess, how are they going to be able to deal with the already environmental issues as it pertains to air quality in this area. Not to mention, to quote Mattress Mac, why is the city continuing to build or to have oceans of concrete in a city that continues to have flooding issues repeatedly? We have catastrophic weather patterns that are coming into the region, and instead of to modify and have infrastructure ready and prepared, we're doing the opposite. We're doing things that are causing these issues and only perpetuating the problems that already exist. So again, thank you so much. Appreciate everyone coming, and this is going to go ahead and wrap up our press conference for today. Thank you.